Hello and welcome to Assets Tech Tips. Today we're doing another unboxing video, or a few unboxing videos for that matter, of the Core i7 unlocked CPU, some HyperX Fury memory, and Silent Wings 2 static pressure fans. So without further ado, let's jump into it. These will be going into a ITX case, or an ITX build that I'm doing, into this little motherboard here, and I shall be doing also an unboxing of this bad boy soon. But before this, let's do the parts. So there's nothing super special about these. Here's the unlocked Core i7 LGA 1151 processor. So for all of you out there, you want to make sure that your motherboard supports LGA 1151 sockets. This is the K version, so it's unlocked. It can be overclocked if needed, which is pretty cool. In this box here, it doesn't come with a what do you call it? A stock CPU cooler like the other processors, generally speaking, do. For example, here normally when you get an Intel processor, you get this thing here, which is just their stock cooler, and as you can see, clearly there's no stock cooler in there. So let's get that open and check out what we get in the box. So now, so here we have a little sticker to state that you've got an i7, and then we've got the processor itself. Pretty cool, although my terrible camera is not really focusing very well. And that's it, that's your i7 processor. There's not very much information on the box, and the box isn't great quality, it's very thin and flimsy, so if this were to get knocked around a lot, it could be that your processor might get damaged. But I mean, it is housed in a protective plastic little case. The thing is though, it's very, very close to the processor, so it wouldn't want to be getting bashed around too much. But other than that, the packaging is flimsy. It could be a little bit better. There's not an awful lot of information on the box itself to tell you much about the processor. My advice to you is, if you want to check out much more spec, go to intel.com and look up the processor there. So that's that. Let's move this one out of the way. Next we have our memory. So this is Kingston's HyperX high performance DDR4 Fury memory. I got two 8 gigs to put in 16 gigs onto the motherboard. As we can see down here, it runs at, okay, I apologize about my poor camera, people. I will need to upgrade this, but just reading it out here, it's 16 gigs DDR4 and it's running at 2133 megahertz, so it's nice and fast. I believe you can push this memory a little bit as well and overclock it if you need to. For more details on specifics of the latency, I would recommend going to their website and checking it out. You can look it up under HyperX. The CL latency here is 14228. Yeah, so that's Corsair's memory, and let's just take a look, because I really like the heatsink on this memory. So here we are. So you get a really great build. This memory, first of all, it looks fantastic. You've got your awesome air vents, or basically holes to, you know, dissipate a little bit more. But all of this here is metal, so it works as a heatsink. It's not very high, so it fits in an awful lot of unique circumstances, like the ITX build over there, where I'll have a pretty low CPU cooler on it. But if you're doing bigger CPU coolers, for instance, like the what was it? I think it was like the GTS from Corsair. There used to be these great big coolers that would come up and over, and the problem was the over piece, the heatsink, wouldn't work with a lot of memory, because the memory heatsinks on old performance memory used to have like pointy sticky out bits, and it was too high. I really like HyperX memory because of its basically low profile in a way. You can get it in different colors as well, so if you're looking for a bit of a color scheme, I believe you might be able to find red. I have blue. Yeah, I've got blue chips in one machine over there, and I have black chips in my primary PC. So you can get these heatsinks in different colors, which is kind of cool. So you can get a bit of a good looking color scheme going on as well. So that there is the HyperX Fury. And then onto the fans. So I picked these fans because they're quiet and because they're static pressure. So the build that I'm doing is very small, it's very tight, the intake of air is a bit difficult. I have very little space to actually pull air in, so these are perfect because that's exactly what these fans are for. They're going to put a positive airflow inside the case, pushing hot air out, because I don't have fans to extract. And yeah, this was the best I could find from my supplier. Normally I would go with Noctua, but I was actually looking for something a little bit nicer in color, and this is what stood out. Plus I noticed from the specification that the static air pressure for these was a little bit quieter than the static air pressure from Noctua, and they were in and around the same price. I mean, this fan here cost me about 40 francs to get. So in the case, let's take a look. We've got our fan. We have these things here. I'm actually not sure what these are. Okay. So yeah, we've got lots of stuff. We have these little rubber grommets and pins in case you do not want to use screws. Fan screws. What are these things? I'm not sure yet what these things are. They look kind of funky. They are, well, this is flexible and this is hard. So this is a hard plastic and this is a flexible one, and I'm assuming something like this is going to happen. It seems to fit in, but I'm not sure. We will take a look at the manual in a second. And then you've got the fan. So here we are. Very good quality fan. Bit of a thick rim. There certainly is a bit of weight to it, and I do appreciate the long cable. Actually, this was another reason why I got this fan, was specifically for the long cable, because the build that I'm doing, it's in a node, a fractal design node 202, and I'm not sure if you know about it, but you have on one side where you put the motherboard, a riser card, and the riser card's got a PCIe which you plug in your graphics card into from the other side, so it separates, and there's quite a long distance from one side to the other, and these fans will be sitting above the graphics card. Anyway, so here the rim is rubber. There's a rubber rim on this. This will be good because it's a static pressure fan and it's going to be very close. The rubber will act as a suppressor to noise as well as vibration. It's also on the back as well. I'm not really sure if you can see it, but there's a little bit of line. So this is the rubber. This piece here is plastic. Here's our motor details. I'm not too sure about the specs of the motor. I usually buy Noctua because of their high quality motor design, so we shall just have to see how this goes. But I really do like the quality of their cable, and it's a 4W PWM. Sorry, a 4-pin PWM, so it can be fan controlled. And then we've got this little Silent Wings 2 user manual, and as suspected, here we are. We have these things here, so let's check that out. Okay, so basically it works something like this. And these here are for the pins. And this one here is for the screws. Well, it's a bit tricky to click in actually. Am I doing this correctly? No, I'm not doing this correctly. It goes in this way because there's a little bit of a grommet. Okay, so I get it. Basically, if you look here, there's a little bit of a line, and that little bit of line clicks in here. That's interesting. And this here gives you the ability to screw in your screws. So just let me take a bit of a look. Alright, so there's no threading in these, so you get to thread for the first time. So you'll get a very, very good tight connection when you screw these screws in for the first time. It's quite a nice design, to be honest. I like the rubber pieces. It's a pity that the rubber pieces don't have little or the holes aren't a little bit bigger to take screws, because I do like the additional noise suppression with the rubber pieces. They're easy enough to take out. Yeah, and this one here, it's a bit more difficult, but yeah. So awesome. It does require a little bit of force, but there you have it. And then let's do the other one. So there you go. Now we have our rubber grommets, and they do elevate the fan. Actually, no, they don't. When this is on the ground, the rubber grommets do not elevate the fan anymore. They are perfectly in line with this rubber piece here. So to be honest with you, it looks like it doesn't really matter that much if you use screws or these guys for your vibration and noise suppression, because you anyway are getting it from this rubber ring here. So that's one thing to basically know. It's nice to know that. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. It looks really nice though, to be honest. I like the look. It's different from traditional fans. For example, let's give you a look at this guy. So normally you would have this kind of a layout. Let's just get this guy out. Yeah, okay. Tricky. There we go. So normally you would have this kind of a layout where the holes are already built in and ready to go, and you can see the differences. So it is definitely a very interesting design. I'm not really sure what the purpose of that was for. Maybe to save weight, but I don't understand why that would be necessary. The thickness is about the same as on a Noctua. The weight is it's about the same also. I didn't go with this because the RPM is far too high, and this is an industrial fan, which is, it would be a bit crazy to stick into the little build that I'm doing. But yeah, cool. So I'd be interested to see now the noise levels and see how it gets on. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you've got any questions, let me know.